Addiction is a very tough problem to solve. And as you know, in most cases, we really cannot cure addiction. And the question is why? Why is it so different than many other conditions? And I think we're starting to understand, science is grasping the concept that the underpinning reason for an addiction is a complete change in the way the brain is working. And we understand that these changes happen at the more innermost parts of the cells that comprise the brain, the neurons, in the DNA itself. The DNA is programmed by the experience of drugs and everything associated with it, from the first exposure to the craving for it, to the abstinence, to seeing it again. All of this changes the way the genes work. And once you have changed that, you're not going to solve the problem till you can change it back. So what we really need to do is to change the program, to change the program that made somebody an addicted person, and kind of remove those signals that make those genes tick.
A new treatment for addiction has been developed and established in Israel by a company called DHEA Horizon. The treatment, which incorporates a nutritional supplement into traditional addiction treatment, has been used for many years in Israel and shows promising results. The nutritional supplement called DHEA is thought to reverse the genetic underpinnings which cause addictive behavior, empowering the patient to overcome their addiction once and for all.
Many treatments that we and others tried to address for the reward system did not work, so we tried the other arm. Using the DHEA, which is a food supplement with no side effects, we found a very striking effect on the behavior, first in animal models and then in addicts in rehabilitation centers. It found to be very, very powerful to very much decrease the relapse rate, but more than 30% that is normal in this rehabilitation center. This actually is can be used for different kind of drugs, different kind of addictions, and with no other problems that can interfere medically, cognitively, or behaviorally. Using DHEA as the trigger, we can actually get this addict throughout the rehabilitation progress more easily in a way that we can predict his rate and ability to rebuild his cognitive backbone and be free from free from drug use for a very long time. And this actually is can be used for different kind of drugs, different kind of addictions, and with no other problems that can interfere medically, cognitively, or behaviorally in his progress. And by this, the addict can come back to the society, rebuild his future, and be out of drug for a very long time, and hopefully forever.
Dr. Schiff, the founding co-director of the Sackler Institute for Epigenetics and Psychobiology at McGill, and holder of the James McGill Professorship and GlaxoSmithKline CIHR Chair in Pharmacology, is playing a prominent role in bringing this promising new addiction treatment to Canada.
So the first time you're exposed to a drug, nobody gets addicted. You're exposed to a drug, you like it, you don't like it, you forget about it. And then you don't see it for some time. And then the drug comes back again. And when it comes back again, whether you went to another party or a pusher pushed you the drug, now you become addicted. Not everybody becomes addicted. Around a certain percentage of people will become addicted. So we ask the question, what happens during this time? Not just during the time that you get drug, but during the time you don't have drugs. At the same time, there's a second thing happening, which is when you don't have the chemicals, the craving, the dreaming about the chemicals is reprogramming the way the genes work. But the brain is keeping working. And the fact that you don't see the drug is changing the brain to make you super addictive. And now the next time you see the drug, and you become even more addicted than you were before. So our new therapies are trying to target that period. And by combining, the removal of the drug with treating or preventing the incubation. The beauty of this kind of treatment is that this is not a drug. This is a nutritional supplement. So we're talking about a whole different range of risks. It's a very, very small risk relative to any other drug. And that's what's attractive about it. When this study was completed, it was clear that it had a very strong effect on the craving, but also on relapse. So when the people were followed up for a year, it was clear that there was at least a 30% change in the number of people that relapsed. The treatment has to be done properly, has to be done in a context of a behavioral treatment that is given in good addiction rehabs, and it has to be personalized. The behavioral change, if it's done properly, can actually tap into changing the gene programming or preventing the gene programming that goes on with just craving by itself. Detox plus a treatment that attempts to change the way the genes are reprogrammed, whether by behavior or by some sort of a chemical intervention, and ideally by combining them, I think is the future of the. So even though we are determined by our genes, we have a degree of freedom. So when the study was completed, it was clear that there was at least a 30% change in the number of people that relapsed. Fewer people relapsed. And we think that that kind of treatment works because it taps into these underpinning mechanisms. It reprograms the way many processes in the brain work, and therefore has a better chance of preventing relapse. At this stage, we offer it to the general public, but under the conditions that it's done under a rehab supervision and that it's personal.